Alright, so this is the Watchman Sentinel rotation as follows to go with everything else that I explained. Let's get right into it. You don't need to do what I do in the very beginning. This is for damage purposes only. I will use my inspiration and my valorous call to rebuild the stacks. Just follow along with the rotation after I use these two abilities down here. So we'll start up here. Alright, and without further ado. Alright, so overcharge Saber. And I'm not even going to try to explain it because it's so quick. You can see that my Twin Saber Throw wasn't activated, so I moved. I'm going to use Slash a bunch of times. You can see I'm at 14 stacks, 18 stacks, 22, and then I can go back. Perfect. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to skip over Cauterize because I already have it on the target and it's going to stay on the target. And you can see I'm going back through the priority list, just continuously building my stacks. Zealous Strike is coming off of cooldown. I know how to do this very well, so it's not crazy but yeah, as you can see, you're gonna spam Slash a shit ton. Just get used to it. You don't really need to worry about your stacks of centering. If you're doing it right, you'll build them just fine. You can see my dispatch is now available, so I'm gonna use it. I 28 stacks, so don't be afraid if you're just shy of stacks to use your abilities before they're quite ready. You don't have to use these abilities in a very strict order. Okay, if you let's say I'm doing it and I hit Blade Barrage by accident and Twin Saber Throw was glowing and off cooldown and whatnot. If I use Blade Barrage before I use Twin Saber Throw, it's not a huge deal. This rotation is super forgiving on the filler section. If you screw up over here in the beginning part, then you might be a little screwed over and you'll be sitting here spamming your strike to get your stacks back. But other than that, it's not a hugely destructive rotation, and you can see it pops out some decent damage numbers and some good heal numbers for you. But we'll do another go of this. So yeah, like I said, in the explanation and whatnot, if you read all of that, you're going to do Overload Saber into Zealous Strike, into Merciless Slash, into Zen, and Force Melt. And you will never use Force Melt without using Zen immediately prior. So don't go Merciless Slash, Force Melt, Zen, Cauterize, and jumping all around over here. It will always be Zen, Force Melt. Those are the only two that you have to do in that exact order, unless we're talking about the priority tree. Priority tree will always be Merciless Slash first, Twin Saber Throw second, Dispatch is third, Blade Barrage is fourth, and Slash is fifth. Zealous Strike isn't in the priority tree because it is only to build stacks if you don't have them. You should always use Slash over Zealous Strike, unless of course you need to. So let's say I use Overload Saber and I've only got one stack, which means I can't use Slash and I can't use Merciless Slash because they both require a 3 and 4 stacks of focus. Then you use Zealous Strike and you can skip over Slash and go into Merciless Slash. So like I said, we'll just do this one more time real quick for you to see. Alright, so I got my 30 stacks of centering, Zen is glowing, I'm going to get my crit on Force Melt, which you'll see when I hit it, it's like 50k damage, it's amazing numbers. Alright, so here we go. So Overload, Zealous Strike, Merciless Slash, Zen, Force Melt, Cauterize, Saber Throw is now glowing so I can use it, and then Slash, 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 slash until you can't hit it anymore. Zealous Strike because I needed the stacks. Force Melt again. And as you can see, my Cauterize is still sitting on the target, so I don't even have to touch it again. Twin Saber Throw is glowing. Blade Barrage is off cooldown. And then I'll go back. I'll use my Slash because I can. So that's what I'm saying. You can skip over Zealous Strike. You don't have to use it. But if you can, then by all means. And you can also use Merciless Slash. You don't need... Like, if I use Merciless Slash there and it's on cooldown, I can use a Strike or a Slash. It's not a huge deal. But you're just going in the priority tree. So if it's off cooldown, use it because you need the damage numbers. This class is not crazy with the amount of damage that it pulls. But even if you do have... what was I going to say? Even if you do have the stacks... Or, yeah, if you have the stacks of centering and, you know, you don't need to use an ability before you should, because Overload Saber gives you 3 abilities to build a stack of burn. So this is why the rotation is as it is. So you use Overload Saber and 1 ability, and that will put your first burn dot down. And then you use a second ability, and that will put your second burn down. And then you'll use your third ability, which is normally always Force Melt. So not only will it crit because of Zen, it will also put your last burn down. So instead of just the 45 to 50k damage, you're looking at 60k damage because not only did you put Force Melt on the target, you also put another burn stack on the target and refresh them. So if you do this right and you do it quick enough, you'll have 3 stacks of burn, your Cauterize, and your Force Melt all in the target at once, and it is a huge burst of damage. So pretty simple rotation. It takes some practice to get down, so don't be mad at yourself if you screw up here and there. It took me a little bit to learn, but it is a fairly simple class, and it is not too tricky whatsoever to learn as long as you focus on the priority tree. If you're focusing on the priority tree, everything else will just fall right where you need it to. You can spam Slash. You don't have to worry about that. Just make sure that while you're spamming Slash, you're paying attention to your other abilities that you have to use as soon as they come off cooldown. You should be using all of these fillers. So, Overload Saber, filler, filler, Zen, Force Melt, Cauterize, filler, 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 until you have 20 to 24 stacks. Then go back to Overload Saber. Then you can use Zealous Strike if you need the stacks of focus. You can use Slash if you don't. Into Merciless Slash unless you already used it. Then you can just use a second Slash or one of your other filler abilities. It does not have to be Merciless Slash. It does not have to be Slash. It can be any one of your fillers as long as they're off cooldown and you're going based off the priority tree. It's super simple. It's great damage. It's great healing for your raid team. And it's an all-around super awesome class. So, yeah, that's it. If you got to watch this a couple times, by all means. I know I go through it pretty fast when I'm clicking. But, yeah, I mean, I hope you learn it. I hope you enjoy it. I love it. So, enjoy it.